Hello, everyone. Welcome. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. Well, I'm going to be doing a little bit of embroidery work on the front of my card today. I was so excited to see that Spellbinders Large Die of the Month for May is another embroidery die. This one is called Stitched Card Front, Border, and Flower, and it's just gorgeous. Last month's small die of the month was an embroidery die, and I had so much fun with that. This is what the largest die in the set looks like, all cut out. And I used the rectangle die to cut it out. But of course, you could just use art mediums over this if you don't care for embroidery. And then it comes with a flower and a leaf, and I cut everything out just to show you with some very heavyweight white cardstock. And then you have this border die. You can cut it out completely with these side dies that you can attach to it. And this is the die I'm going to focus on for today's card. So I went ahead and cut out a diagonal with these little flowers down the side of my card. I have to finish cutting them out, but I'll pull out my paper trimmer and do that here in just a minute. I'm going to be pairing it with the clear stamp of the month for May. These are lovely sentiment and border stamps. And I particularly like the largest one in this set. It says, "I hug you with my heart every day." Let me get a piece of white cardstock behind this stamp so you can see it better. It just fits perfectly inside this larger die, but I'm going to use it on the bottom corner of my card. So let's pull out my paper trimmer and finish cutting out this border die. I just wanted it to be diagonal down the side. And so I didn't dare to cut this out with my scissors. I wanted to cut it properly with my paper trimmer. So I'll line up the edge where I want to cut. And this has a wire guide on it, so I can see clearly where I'm cutting, but I do go kind of slow so that I don't cut too much off. Then I can just put it at the top and slowly chip away at it until it comes loose. And here it is, all ready to go. One of the most difficult things for me to do is to come up with a color palette. But I really love this Dahlia cardstock from Spellbinders, so I'm going to use this as my backing paper. And then I'm going to use some pink embroidery threads on these flowers. I'll pull out my little embroidery bin and show you this. I just love this little thing. It was my father-in-law who actually started me on my collection here with these little embroidery threads wrapped around these little cardboard pieces. And I don't think he even knew what they were, but he knew that I was crafty and liked thread and yarn and crocheting and all of this. So he found this at a garage sale and he brought it to me one day. He's just the sweetest father-in-law ever. And then, of course, I've added to it since then. But every time I pull that out, it reminds me of my sweet father-in-law. So I chose 3 different colors of pink. I'm going to start with the darkest pink first. I cut a really long piece of the thread so that I could just keep embroidering and I wouldn't have to stop and thread my needle again. And I'm going to be using 2 strands of thread from this. So I just pulled it apart and I'll save the rest for something else. But I found that 2 threads were the best for this. I did try it with 3 and it got to be a little bit tight in the center of the flower. But I'll show you what I mean here in just a minute. I'm going to secure this with a little bit of double-sided adhesive, and I leave the backing on so it's not sticky, of course. When I embroider, I like to pull it through my fingers so it doesn't knot up. Even if you go slow sometimes, you can still get a knot in your yarn, especially when it's this long. I just like to pull it through my fingers, as you see, and that prevents it from knotting up. So I go up the side of the flower, and then I go in the middle of the flower. I'm not an expert at embroidery work, but I do enjoy it, and you may have your own method for this, but just do whatever you like, of course. But I'm just showing you how I did this. I won't show you the whole thing because it did take a while to do, but I just used double-sided adhesive to tape my strings in place so it wouldn't unravel. Now that that's done, I'm going to stamp out the sentiment, and I'm just placing my white cardstock on top so I can get an idea of where to put this stamp. I'm going to heat emboss this with some white embossing powder. I'll place that on the pink cardstock, and it's dark enough that it really shows up nicely. I like to use anti-static powder first just to keep the stray embossing powder off of the panel. And I'll ink it up with some Versamark ink. I do ink it up about 3 times, but I'll just show you one stamping. And then I can pull out this panel and pour over my white embossing powder. I use this piece of scrap paper to catch it. And this is a fine detail embossing powder from Simon Says Stamp. I kind of move slowly when I melt this to keep warpage down. It always ends up warping a little bit, but that's all right. Here's a blue panel too. I had a hard time deciding whether I wanted the Dahlia pink or the cosmic blue. They were both just gorgeous. So I decided to make up 2 cards. I'll put the pink panel down first on a white top folding card base. And I had to cut off the left edge. My card base was a little bit too wide. I popped up the white panel with some foam strips. And then I'm going to put this card base in my MISTI. I'll take out the foam piece, and this is just an easy way to line up the corners. I saw some crafter do this on YouTube, and I thought it was so clever, and I thought I'd try it. And it worked out just great for me. I'm going to use some micro dots behind my flower. I'm not going to put any behind the petals because I want those to kind of pop up. But I'll put 2 micro dots behind the center of this. And I'm just trying to gauge where to put this by using one of the leaves. Then I'll put 2 micro dots behind the leaves. And this adds such a soft, textured, fun element on the fronts of your cards. I just love how this turned out. I'm going to add a second leaf at the other side of this flower. At the end of this video, I do have a few new products to show you that Spellbinders has sent me. These are called Crafting Essentials. And I'm going to use one of them on this card here in just a minute. But I thought I might as well show you what they sent me. There are some really neat new products in their shop. So these are their new Color Essential Gems. They have the Gold Mix, Silver Mix, and Crystal Mix. I'm going to use the Crystal Mix in the centers of these little flowers. And they're so tiny. I'm using the tweezers as well, just to pick these up and place them down. Here is the first card all done. I just love the little bit of sparkle that those crystals give. And I really like the white embossed sentiment. It just kind of brings everything together, the white of the cardstock. Here is my cosmic blue version of this card, and I wish I had moved the stamp down a little bit, but I think it'll be just fine to send out. I had so much fun putting these cards together. Here are the new must-have tools that Spellbinders has sent me, and I'll just quickly walk you through these. This is the Barely Art Mini Glue. I've been using this for a few months now, and I really love the nozzle on this because it's nice and fine. Let me open this and show you what it looks like. This is a 2-ounce bottle, and it comes with just a regular lid on it, and then it also has some different nozzles that you can attach to this other lid. And it has a pin that you keep in the top so it doesn't get clogged. Next, I'll open up this little envelope. So as I showed you before, they sent me some Color Essential Gems. So far, I'm loving these. They also sent some of the best ever craft tape. I've already been using this for a while, and I love this stuff as well. It has just the right amount of stickiness to it. They also sent me some tweezers. One is a reverse tweezer, and the other one is a detail tweezer. These are some platinum cutting plates in 2 different sizes, and they're really pretty. They have glitter on the inside of them. Here is the new magnetic pickup tool. Recently, I purchased the Glimmer Hot Foil system, and I haven't used it yet. I admit it does intimidate me just a little bit, but I'm definitely going to give that a try really soon. And last is their grid paper pad. I will have all of these products listed in the description box below, as well as over at my blog. And I'll have all of the products I use to create my 2 cards today listed as well. I hope you enjoyed these card projects, and I hope you make the time to sit down and have some crafty fun yourselves. I'll be back again soon with another video. Take care. Bye.